And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome to the show. Thanks for spending time with us here. Got some great stories for you today and great guest in studio. Representative Danny Alvarez, State Rep, District 69 out in Riverview, Florida, back in studio with us. Give us a little teaser, Danny.
Love to be here, brother. Super excited. Finally home from session after about 3 months being gone. And unfortunately, we still probably got about another month to go back between specials and getting the budget done. But
a lot of
work
we
signed up for. Yeah,
a lot of work getting done up there. The people's work, man. A lot of good stuff. Interesting story, too. IRS drops data, bombshell here. Red states gained $39 billion in net income
100%.
In 2023. Blue states lost $43 billion. So pretty crazy. We kind of see that and sense that. But it's interesting that they're putting these stories together for us. So we'll touch on this story as well. Danny's been monumental on this farm bill in Florida. We're going to talk about the Florida Farm Bill here as well in the state of Florida. Meta, $375 million slap down. Social media, safety trial. We'll talk about that. Also, raise stadium funding. We're going to get Danny's kind of insights on that, what his thoughts are, and public funding. Should it be private funded? Should the taxpayers have to pay for something like that? We'll discuss that as well here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, a Finnish woman, the parliamentarian in Finland, she faces charges and multiple challenges now over multiple years now. She's got criminal charges for posting a Bible verse. So. Yeah, pretty crazy story. So we'll hit on all those today here. We'll jump right into it here. Consumer Quarterback Show. We're powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, always helping you win in your real estate deals, buying, selling, investing, refinancing. We would love to help you win no matter what marketplace. And we always feature our real estate listings live on air. I got one in Riverview here, Danny. This is out in your district. 10001 Waterworks Lane, Riverview, Florida. Beautiful property. I love this listing. Check out the size of that lake. You've got a gated 2-acre parcel of land on a pretty good-sized lake there. I mean, beautiful property. 1765 square feet. Now, what's more is that this is currently utilized as an engineering space. The owners own a engineering firm, an architectural firm maybe, and it's a really awesome opportunity. You got room for expansion there. Great opportunity for that business owner, maybe looking to kind of have their own business, maybe park some trailers on the side. 10001 Waterworks Lane in Riverview, Florida. Awesome real estate listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We also got a new listing here at 443 Foxdale Road, Lake Placid, kind of that central Florida area, getting closer down that US 27 corridor, close to the LaBelle, Florida, and close to Sebring there. You got the Sebring races going on and all that good stuff. This is a 222, 1514 square feet, quarter-acre lot, open floor plan. Beautiful home here. This is 443 Foxdale Road, Lake Placid, Florida. Great opportunity to own real estate. Priced in the mid-200s, so it's very affordable area. And Lake Placid is a cool town, Danny, right?
You've seen awesome. I love that place.
The amount of lakes and just the access you have to the water, super cool.
I almost don't even want to say how great it is so people start moving there, but that is really one of the hidden gems of but if you need this house, please call Brandon.
There you go. Call the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. 443 Foxdale Road, Lake Placid, Florida. You got that metal roof on top. You're never going to have to replace that thing, most likely, during your lifetime. You can see all of our listings, platinummvpteam.kw.com, and you can see all of our radio and TV show expert contributors at consumerqb.com.
And yeah, I'm racing my class to those saving our ass overseas.
There we go. So, Danny, Representative Danny Alvarez, State Representative, Public Servant. Welcome back in,
sir.
Thank
you, brother. It's good to be here.
Yeah, man.
I really love this place.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. Let's start with your farm bill because you've sponsored this multiple years in a row. We got a farm bill, and DeSantis signed it. I believe it's SB 290, Florida Farm Bill. Not only does this legislation reinforce our commitment to the success of Florida agriculture, its provisions also protect the health, security, and freedom of Floridians.
100%. Brother, listen, people are always like, Danny, you are from Riverview. You don't farm. You've never had a tractor underneath you. You don't even ride a horse. None of that matters. Farming is national and Florida security. If you want to make sure we stay free, you make sure our food supply is real, it's consistent, and it's protected. That's why we got to look out for Florida farmers the way we did, and that's why we're doing that. But part of this is, you're in the real estate business, is land is super expensive, and we're pricing out farmers that want to grow or farmers that want to get into business. Right now, we have the oldest median age group in farming that we've had in a long time.
Okay.
And we can't motivate people to start going in there. So we got to figure out ways to keep Florida rural. We got to figure out ways to keep Florida natural. And one of the ways we did is when the government buys property, they always buy too much, or often they buy too much. If they're going to surplus it, what we said is you're going to make sure if it's usable for farmland, we're stripping the development rights and we're creating a conservation easement on it so farmers can get it, farmers can farm it, and then you just buy it on the open market. It stays on the public tax roll. The government doesn't manage it. Did you know that 30% of the state of Florida is owned by the government? I mean, think about that, right? Think about that, over 30%. So I think Florida for Floridians, and in this case, we're going to keep conserved and we're going to protect it and make sure that those areas that can be farmed stay farming.
Yeah, it's interesting too because I did a story a couple of days ago or on the show previously where, I know we signed something at Tallahassee. The governor signed something saying, "Hey, no Chinese firms able to buy food production, farmland, etc." And of course around military bases. But we also had a situation where they're disguising it through LLCs, and it was something like the Middle Eastern investors, along with maybe was it Canadian or something? But are there loopholes that we're not seeing, and people are getting around that?
So we're figuring that out now. So originally the bill was 25 miles away from a military base or any agriculturally designated farmland cannot be purchased by a nation of foreign concern. China, Iran, Cuba, Russia, those kind of nations. And that's what we want. I mean, we can't buy it in their land because they understand it's national security to them. Here we let them do it for forever. And actually, Florida was like number 25, 26, 27 states to get that done. But now we're figuring out it ain't as easy. Now they've gotten sophisticated. So we're probably going to have to go in and revisit it to tighten that up and make it more secure.
Yeah, exactly. Representative Danny Alvarez here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon BRimes. We're talking about the Florida Farm Bill, keeping our agriculture community. I grew up in a small town called LaBelle, down just east of Fort Myers, super small town. And a lot of my buddies were, tomato farmers or orange grove, or they had harvesting businesses. They were related to agriculture in some way or another. You do have a lot of the migrants that would come in. Yep. They would work the fields, pick the fruits, and pick the oranges, etc. For the most part, good people, 100%. Good folks, great folks. They come in, do a lot of hard work. Where are we at on that? Because you've seen something come out this past week where Sheriff Grady Judd maybe was misquoted or something. I think there might have been a little media, kind of pushing back against the, rounding up illegals and things like that. What do you see? Because that's so related to farm, the labor side. So
here's what's interesting: the Trump administration themselves put out a statistic about a year ago that said in the agricultural industry, there's less than a 1% usage of illegal immigrant workforce. So the shadow workforce. What you see in Florida, when you see people working, let's just say here in Hillsborough County in strawberry fields, you're looking at long-term immigrant labor that gets done legally through these visa programs. So, in fact, we had to run a bill that allowed our farmers to the state took back control of what their housing regulations were because so many counties were preventing them from being able to build the housing, which prevented them from bringing in the worker. But a lot of these workers that come from these foreign countries are doing this really, really hard work that seemingly we can't get Americans to do, but they're doing it through a legal process. And I want you to know, Brandon, it's super expensive. So if you look at FHP and you talk to those folks in the background, they'll say, listen, we rarely interact with farmers because we know that they're H-1 kind of workers, and we know that they're here for the temporary, and they know they've got their visas. It's very onerous on our farmers. They've got to provide housing, wash, food, access to food. They got to go to have rides to the store on a regular basis. So you'll see all these buses that are always transporting. That's what they're full of. And so on the side of that bus, it actually has federal work rules on it. Workers' comp on the side. It has all these work rules. So those are legal workforce that's taking care of Florida farming that we have imported to make sure that we can get those crops out of the fields because it's really tough work, and Americans don't seem to be signing up for it. So.
Right, exactly. Okay, so the Farm Bill, that's great. We covered that.
Yes, sir.
Secondly, I wanted to get to, right here in Tampa Bay, big talk about the Tampa Bay raise and funding and DeSantis, I think, allocated some land right here with the college. What do you see happening there? What's the big debate, or what should people know more versus public funding versus private funding? What's your thoughts around?
Listen, Brandon, to me, this is some of the most tone deaf stuff I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah.
We just went through a year and a half of getting beat up by every single voter we run into that says, when are you cutting my property tax? When are you making my life more affordable? When are you working on my insurance? When?
Yeah.
And the government just sits there and goes, I don't know.
What about a baseball stadium? But you know,
and we've done things
Yeah.
like we did a great tort reform, and that seems to be working. We got insurance company in. But then we do Doge, and Doge shows here in Hillsborough County $300 million plus extra spending that we shouldn't have done.
Yep.
And then you want to turn around and tell me the best thing you're going to do right after you hear both of those things is turn around and build a stadium with taxpayer dollars?
Yeah.
That is tone deaf.
Right.
It is ridiculous. It's un-Republican, but forget Republican.
Yeah.
You're not listening to the people that brought you here, right? For me, I represent the east side of the county. I got roads that constantly you tell me I don't have money to build. I have 30 plus, or really now 25 plus fire stations that we're short, that should have been built with impact fees, that didn't get properly built, and now we have a deficit. What is that? That's a public safety issue. And we have all these things that we say we don't have money for. Sorry, Danny.
Yeah.
But guess what? We got money for a stadium. I want to be crystal clear. Brandon, I love the idea of the Rays. I want the Rays to stay.
Yep.
I know the Rays are going to make a ton of money, right? And I want them to make every penny that they want to make. But I don't think they should do it on the back of the person that's stuck in traffic on Lithia Pinecrest while they wait for their government to come help them, and we help somebody else.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. I'm never going to support that.
Yeah, and you see those kind of things happen. I remember going back probably 10, 15 years now, my uncle Joseph Catano just passed away.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
92 years old. He was a city council member. He's a city councilman in Tampa, I think back when Pam Iorio was the mayor. And it was the same, very similar happened to him. He or my Aunt Nair fell down in the home, and they were in New Tampa. They called him Mr. New Tampa. And he had a very terrible situation where, it took forever for the ambulance to show up. So it's kind of talking about the safety issues, the underfunding, and not really prioritizing. And his big gripe back then was, all the big downtown players,
100%.
they want to keep all that money downtown, Harbor Island, Davis Island, put all the money skirts.
Listen, if you represent South Tampa, good for you. You fight for them. But in my side of the county, in the east side of the county, if you were to vote for this, I hope that you're ready to face a voter base that's going to come after you, because we have been screaming, when is our turn? And now you ask for $1 billion plus more. Not today.
Yeah.
We ain't doing it.
Pretty wild. All right, moving on to the next topic here. So the Hodge twins, I love these guys. They put out a lot of great content.
Yes, sir.
This is red versus blue, adjusted gross income. So think about this migration. We all kind of subconsciously knew this, but we haven't seen the data compiled this way. If you look at $39 billion plus positive, $39 billion of states that went for President Trump, minus $42.5 billion is the net adjusted gross income for states that went for Harris. So IRS data bombshell drops. You've got all these numbers: Florida plus $20 billion, Texas plus $5 billion, South Carolina plus $4 billion, California negative $13 billion, New York negative $10.5 billion. People are voting with their feet, and red states are winning big.
100%. People are going to vote with their dollars way, way more than they vote with their election authority, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at Florida versus New York, which is where, we live in Florida, so that's what I know. We run a state that's bigger than the state of New York with a third of the budget. We're about $115 to $117 billion. They have a state that's fleeing. People are fleeing, that's leaking. They're bleeding humans. Yeah. And the governor just went on TV a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, we want you to come back so we can tax you. Yeah. So we can tax you for the social services that we are spending too much money on anyways. And then Mandami's over there going, hey, listen, when you die, I want 50% of everything you get. Right, and then I'm going to raise your property taxes. The answer here is our profit and loss sheet, right? Our P&L. I know we're a government; we don't have profit, right? But when we look at the balance sheet, it's balanced. We force a balanced budget, which is why we're going to go back. And if we don't get it right during session, we're going to get pulled back until we do get it right.
Right.
But not every state does that. And the other part that really helps us, I'm not going to lie to you, is the line item veto. the governor, right, can go in and go, we're not doing that, we're not doing that, we're not doing that. And that helps so much because they don't have to vote as like this omnibus thing, which is a really big deal. So really, what we really need to maintain, though, Brandon, it's super important.
Yeah.
You come to Florida, do not New York or California, my Florida. The reason you're coming, the reason that Miami's becoming this tech hub and Tampa's becoming this security hub is because you loved the things that we did for you to recruit you. Participate. Do your part. Bring more business. We want you, but don't try to change the way we do things.
Exactly. And I want to ask you about the West Palm Beach district that all the left is we're flipping districts. I want to ask you that after the break.
Yes, sir.
Quick break. Right back here with Representative Danny Alvarez, State Rep District 69 out of Riverview, Florida, on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stay with us. Follow us online. We've got a lot of social media videos going pretty viral now. Tens of thousands of views. Got a couple over 1 million views now. At Brandon Rimes 1 on Insta. At CQB Show. Consumer Quarterback Show. Quick break, right back.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rimes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Did you know that we buy houses cash? We can close quickly for a all-cash offer on your real estate properties, residential, commercial, even vacant land. We'll buy your property cash. No cleaning, no showings, and no hassles. You can even possibly stay in your home post-closing. Call Brandon at 813-917-1894. Submit the email at consumerqb.com or call 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com. We buy houses cash and fast. Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com. Partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Doug Clark, chef and owner Doug Clark, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance. Say hello to our friend Doug Clark.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rimes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, Consumer Quarterback Show, Representative Danny Alvarez in studio with us. I'm going to ask him why we lost a couple of these seats, what's happening. We're not hopefully losing the state of Florida. Is it just a kind of a coincidental thing that just happened? We'll talk about that, some of these seats that got flipped, the Palm Beach District, the local as well. And I want to get to this story about this Finnish parliamentarian that's facing legal charges as well as criminal prosecution that sparked debate for posting a Bible verse out of Romans. We'll talk about that. All right, a couple of hot listings. We'll jump right into it. 9900 Island Harbor Drive. This one's in Port Richey, Florida. This is a waterfront short sale. You've got access to the Gulf of America there. Beautiful home. It has experienced some damage, so it's perfect for a flipper. We've got a bank-approved price on it in the mid-200s, I believe, maybe upper 200s. It's a 432, 2,000 square feet, quarter acre, just under quarter acre lot. Hurricane damaged, flooded home. 9900 Island Harbor Drive. Great opportunity to come in and renovate it and make it look nice again. And hopefully that was just a 100-year occurrence, right? All right, so we got another listing here at 19511 Southeast 110th Avenue. This one's in English, Florida, and this one is compliments of Crystal on our team. So we've got let's come to 4925 North US Highway 441 in Ocala. So this is another one in Ocala, Florida. This is a fully remodeled estate, 7.9 acres, high and dry, split into two parcels, 2.6, the other's 5.3. Great opportunity. It's commercial B4. You got B4 commercial with frontage, and we did a brand new price on this property. Great opportunity to invest in Florida real estate in Ocala. That's horse country. That's farm country. 4925 North US Highway 441. Great opportunity to buy real estate right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings, platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, so we 3 minutes here, Danny. Real quick, Palm Beach flipped and a local district flip. What's your thoughts?
I'm not super worried that this is some big indicator. If this is a general election, which is it's coming in November, all these people have to run again. They just won.
Okay,
now
good.
they literally are going to file to run in a general election coming up. That will be the indicator. If they flip, then maybe you start to look at it. One thing is in this game, you never, ever, ever start sleeping, right? You never take things for granted. So anything can happen from day to day, so you just got to be careful.
No, that's right. And then this is the story I wanted to get to. So you got a Finnish parliamentarian. I'm going to play a quick clip here, and then we'll come into this story. But it's unbelievable because this stuff is happening in the EU, other places, and it's feelings versus values. Like Dennis Prager's new book, one of my favorites, new book out about God, of course.
Did you post that caused you to be criminally prosecuted?
Thank you. It was from the book of Romans, first chapter, and verses 24 to 27.
Okay. And could you help me know why you chose that particular passage to post?
The Apostle Paul teaches in these verses about the marriage and about the same-sex relationships, and he defines them as sinful and shameful.
Okay, so really light topic here on the Consumer Quarterback Show.
Way to end the show.
Tell you, I mean, it's overseas, right?
Absolutely.
This stuff happens overseas, and it's all about free speech versus, and then they want to call the opposite of that hate speech. Oh, well, that's hateful, this and that. And so the case highlights a growing concern regarding potential for censorship, particularly in light of the EU Digital Service Act. Not only does this legislation set stringent regulations for online content with Europe, but also poses a broader risk of global censorship. And we saw what happened with the Twitter files.
Right.
We saw how that could easily be turning on people. What's your thoughts around that?
Listen, this is a fundamental right that was given to you by God. When you have your freedom and you have your rights like that, no law is supposed to be able to stand to it. So that's why we should thank the writers of the Constitution that protected and enshrined it. But, brother, when you see this slippery slope happening in Europe and think it isn't going to come here, you're out of your freaking mind.
Yeah.
Right now, this week, we had a sheriff go arrest someone because they drew a Jewish star on his head and they put those little hairs that come out of a hat. He didn't like it. He went and arrested the guy.
Wow.
That is out of control. I don't know if you know that, but
I didn't hear that.
That's
was in Florida?
illegal.
Was
right?
that in Florida?
I don't know actually where it was, and I'm
Different
sorry to have
state,
thrown
maybe.
that to you without having like more information.
That's okay.
But listening to what she said, I'm fearful of that because this is literally the greatest strength of America is the individual right. It's not the commons, right? It's the individual rights that you were given by God, and we enshrine you against the masses, right?
That's right.
We protect you and your voice. It's vital. It's tantamount. It's what gives us our freedom.
It's natural rights, and it's
natural.
What Charlie Kirk was so great at just getting out there and
That's right.
articulating. Danny Alvarez, State Representative, District 69. How can people connect with you, Danny?
That's it. Just find me online, find me in the newspaper, or find me in trouble. But just come find me.
There you go. I like that. Good stuff, man, coming up. All right, so Aaron Williamson coming up, Cornerstone Project Management. We're going to talk with him about some interesting stuff happening. Meta hit with a $375 million settlement, social media safety trial, a lot of other crazy stuff happening. There's no shortage, as we say, in the technology space, as well as Holly investigates FICO for mortgage credit scoring coming up as well. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rimes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay.
All right, welcome back, Consumer Quarterback Show. Aaron Williamson joining me in studio here, Cornerstone Project Management, a longtime friend of the show. He's our tech expert, all things related to technology, AI, computers, software, all the different systems you're using in your business or at home. We would love for you to reach out to our show and support the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show and all of our expert contributors. You can reach out to the show hotline, or you can hit us up at consumerqb.com. Consumerqb.com is where you can find us. And a story coming up about jury orders Meta to pay $375 million in social media safety trial. That one's out of New Mexico. And there's also some interesting stuff happening in AI space. It's now discoverable in court. So if you tell AI, some of your deepest, darkest secrets relating to a case, beware, because that can be utilized and accessed. So it kind of eliminates your attorney-client privilege in a way. So we'll talk about that here coming up. A couple of hot listings, and we'll jump right into it here. As you know, my wife Lindsay and I own a top real estate team here in Tampa Bay. We always feature our real estate listings live on air, maximizing the exposure and the profit on the sale of our real estate listings. 9901 Bay Drive, Gibsonton. Beautiful property. I love this property. It's a corner lot on the water, access to the Gulf. 9901 Bay Drive in Gibsonton, Florida. Corner lot location. You're off of the Alafia River there. Beautiful property. Great opportunity to buy real estate right here in Tampa Bay. We also have a new commercial listing at 100 East Shell Point Road, Ruskin, Florida. This one's a commercial listing, artistic look on it, kind of a unique building. Have you seen one like that, Aaron? You probably have not, right?
That's interesting.
Look at this thing. It's got all the Art Deco, and it's 6,758 square feet, mixed use, half-acre lot, RTC1 zoning. So you've got the downstairs kind of operating as commercial space, residential buildings upstairs. So you have tenants. You can utilize, maximize that for occupancy. You've got a great opportunity with 6,758 square feet, mixed use, half-acre lot, 100 East Shell Point Road in Ruskin, Florida. Beautiful property, great opportunity. Listed just under $1 million listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumMVPteam.kw.com. You can see all of our radio and TV show expert contributors at consumerqb.com. All right, Aaron Williamson back in studio with us, Cornerstone Project Management. You're helping folks out there with all their technology, IT, and all that good stuff.
Yes, sir. Cornerstone Project Management's a local Tampa Bay based company, IT company, but we do operate remotely around the U.S. and the world. But yeah, we focus a lot on cybersecurity and all your basic IT needs and get your ducks in a row, getting your business operating efficiently.
Yeah, that's super cool, man. Love supporting the local economy by supporting local entrepreneurs and business owners like Aaron. All right, jury orders Meta to pay $375 million in social media safety trial. A jury in New Mexico recently found that the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp violated state law by failing to fully disclose risk to children on its social media platforms. What say you? What's the inside story here?
Yeah, this is interesting. It's being called a landmark win for parents. The state of New Mexico brought suit against Meta, like you said, who owns all of those social media companies, and said it was under the premise of the Unfair Practices Act. Okay? So what they said is that Meta had made false or misleading statements about the platform safety, but then they also engaged in what, and this is a quote, unconscionable practices that took advantage of children's vulnerabilities. And they based that off of internal documents that Meta knew about the child sexual exploitation and mental health harms, and yet, even internally in documentation, had prioritized profits and engagement over stronger protections for children.
Wow. Yeah, you see that. It's kind of similar, too, in a way, because these internal documents seem to come back and haunt these companies, these large corporations. And again, that's the problem with these large corporations, is they're beholden to the stockholder. It's all about what's the corporate slogan there, or the corporate, it basically says, hey, we got to put our stockholders first rather than the conscionable of the client, the customer in many cases. So essentially you have the Zillow lawsuit, very similar there. You've got internal filings showing them, hey, let's steer these people, let's push these people to our mortgage team so we can, vertically integrate, make more money, more profitability for the corporation.
It's really a conversation about sustainability. Even if it's not moral, it's a sustainability problem. I remember my time at Halliburton, and we had these conversations that we were demonized for a lot of things, right? But the ultimate argument within the strategy team was, well, why would we knowingly harm any person or fault line or whatever, or groundwater, knowing that would ruin, and not only it'd be harmful to the country and the people, but it would ruin our profitability model. Right. It's not profitable to not be sustainable, and this kind of proves why. And I think other states are going to jump on board, because the state of New Mexico basically represented what they estimated 75,000 New Mexico children. Yeah. And at $5,000, which is the max award apiece, that's $375 million. To put that in perspective, that I think Meta's about $2 billion in profits a month. So this isn't really going to dent them all that much. But if 50 states do it, maybe it would. Right. And I think there's a bigger picture there, which is, safety is sustainability is profitability. These are not loosely tied concepts.
No, yeah, exactly. No, that's a big deal. And then they always hide behind this Section 230, says interactive computer services, service providers usually cannot be held liable for content published on their platforms. What's the debate there? Give me both sides of that story, because you hear that 230 coming up, and I think, the big players, the G Word and all these different companies, if you look at what they prioritize, and you even look at some of the most blatant, misrepresentation. So I'm putting in a search in for X candidate versus the other candidate, right? So what is this Section 230?
It's a really, really complex topic, and a great question, because when it comes down to Section 230, you can say everything we do as a business should be aligned with our priorities, and the government should not be able to interfere with my business's priorities, which sounds like a true statement. Okay. But our government is not an amoral organization. Right. We are a country founded on godly principles, and protection of children especially, being the most vulnerable. So in certain cases, they do exercise the right to say you are harming the citizenry, therefore we can. In other ways to look at it is the hate speech. You just brought this up. Yeah. Is there such a thing as hate speech? Well, there's free speech and no speech. I don't know if there's a hate speech. Right. But if it harms somebody, that's when the government looks at it, right? Yeah. And I think those are two different conversations, but they really are under the same umbrella of what are you allowed to do privately, and what can the government make you do? And that's that 230 argument.
Yeah. As much as you hate a certain perspective, sometimes you don't like it, you disagree with it, it's still their right to say it. Other than, of course, bomb in an airplane, or fire in a large crowd, right? Those types of common sense.
But I agree, it's common sense. But is it wrong? I'd say morally, yes. And so we have a law against yelling bomb in an airport, right? Right. But at the same time, is it illegal? No, there's no law saying you can't.
Interesting. Okay.
Although there might be now, but originally there was not, right? And the argument would have been free speech.
Let me ask you a question, too, because I want to pivot here into AI, because it's such a huge thing nowadays. I mean, I love it in a lot of ways. It helps us with our video production. Our videos are getting tens of thousands, even over 1 million views now, and it really makes it so easy to cut up the video content, which was such, it was kind of a thorn in my side for all these years, because I had, previous producers. David's great. He's been a great producer. Previous producers just wouldn't do it. They, it takes so much time to cut content and then label it properly, use the hashtags. We've got software now that'll do it for us. So, where I'm going there. But AI, you look at, it's one of those not in my backyard things, because I believe when you look at the overall, what it brings, what it provides. So I'm saying not in Florida, not in my backyard in Tampa Bay, because of water constraints. I mean, I heard it's really terrible on water. Got electricity. It's going to bang and boom on those electrical breakers and the supply there. Then you're also attracting a lot of times these overseas players to come in and HB1s, the different types of folk. And nothing against Indians or different, but I'm for Americans. I'm pro-America, right? And then I can go on into other things. But something big happened this week, and I've got a clip. I want to.
Has ruled that a defendant's interaction with a public generative AI program, Claude, cannot be claimed as work product or attorney-client privilege. And that means that the defendant's entire history with Claude, that AI program, is now discoverable by the government. The court held that using public generative AI programs breaks confidentiality. And why does it break confidentiality? Because you're providing information to a party that is not an attorney. And when you share that data with
Okay, I'll pause there, but can you translate that for us?
Yeah,
what's your thought?
Absolutely. So the federal court ruling said that these conversations that this person had with Claude. Now, the backstory is this guy committed fraud, okay? And he was in the middle of a legal defense.
Okay.
And his lawyers did not tell him to go ask Claude or any AI about any of this, but he did it on his own. And the worst part about it was he did it with a free version, okay? And I'll get into why that might matter.
Okay.
Might not. But essentially, it's discoverable and it's not protected attorney-client privilege. The first part, it's not privileged because it's like emailing your secrets to anybody. It's putting it out there. The court has said sharing the results or sharing that conversation with an AI agent was just like sharing it with a stranger. So it's completely out there. The other thing that they tried to use in defense that his attorney said, well, it's a work product. Now, work products, say if you go get a psychiatrist evaluation, it's not from an attorney, but it is a work product that is protected in that way where it cannot be discoverable as part of a case, or it may not be.
Okay.
Doesn't apply here because he did not ask his attorneys did not tell him to go do it, and sharing it with the work product with his attorneys after the fact did not make it fall under that clause of being a non-discoverable work product. So what does that mean? Well, it means don't tell AI anything you wouldn't tell a complete stranger.
Yeah.
And then there are a couple of ways to protect yourself in the future. So the first thing you need to know is everything you tell AI, it remembers in most of them out there for about 5 years. And the reason they do this is for learning models, right? So they learn with everything they do. If you opt out, and there is a way to opt out in these clients, they will only keep your data for 30 days. So you can opt out of your information being used as a learning model. That is one way. So and if it's post that 30 days, it probably isn't discoverable. It's probably gone, and it will not be found. The other way is there are paid versions. So if you have there are privacy agreements between B2Bs, basically, who use AI as a paid service.
Okay.
Also not discoverable because it's likely in the privacy agreement between the two companies.
There you go.
But if you're using an AGI, an artificial general intelligence that is free, you have zero right. And the court essentially said you have zero right for even expecting it to remain private.
Unbelievable. Yeah, what an interesting world we live in. I tell you,
Right.
it's interesting because, you go into a lawsuit and these are the things that you may not expect, and you kind of try to expect those things. But yeah, that's interesting the way you look at that. And what other applications? What are some practical applications? If I'm a business owner, I'm driving around right now, I'm listening. Maybe I'm watching a video, one of our videos on social. What is something that you're seeing that's pushing that profit line for people? What's actually working out there?
Yeah, great question. So I think that these artificial general intelligence have flipped business economics on their head. So we talked about the overhead costs decreasing for my business even with the use of, because now I have a developer at my fingertips. I have a marketing professional at my fingertips. I have a graphic designer right at my fingertips. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Phone calls,
Yep.
chat bots. All of that overhead is decreasing, and I think people are finding that all of this help, this professional service help, is going to be much cheaper, much quicker, and I'm not going to say it's any better. Like everything, it will have challenges, and it does, right? I think I mentioned last time I built a website in like 2 hours.
Yeah, I remember that.
So much money, right? And I'm starting to see that we're starting to see that with layoffs of administrative jobs, which is unfortunate. At the same into a more skilled labor pool, which will be, using AI. And it's funny, I'll tell you a little story. I see a lot of AI content in email, getting emailed to me, documents in PDF, or just even emails that I'll read, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like he wrote that.
Yeah.
People are unapologetically using it, and then saying, yeah, this was generated by AI, but this is what we need to do. And
right.
So, you take it with a grain of salt. You say, all right, well, I'll read it anyway. It's really good, and it is... I've got to say, it's going to change the way we communicate. If nothing else, that might be the biggest way we see the changes. I don't have to, my texts, my emails to you, all of that. All I have to do is give it an idea, and now you get a better fleshed out version of it. And people are in the business world are starting to admit, yeah, this is AI. Here it is.
Exactly.
It's still $10,000 for that work product.
Yep.
That doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and so. I that might change. The business economics, like I said, might change. But right now, people are being, especially in the administration that's currently there, are very unapologetic about use of it.
Yeah, and it's like virtual photography. You have to disclose it. So as long as you're disclosing and saying, hey, this is, that's AI that you're talking to or whatever, just disclose it. I think people respect that when you say that. And yes, it helps streamline my business and cut overhead and help us deliver a better product at a better price for you, product or service. Quick break, right back with Aaron Williamson. Also, Target will now require every cereal it sells to be made without synthetic food dyes by the end of May. Interesting story coming up out of the, this one's from Wealth Growth Lab. Interesting story there. Target coming up here, and more with Aaron Williamson, our tech expert on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Cornerstone Project Management, cornerstonepmp.com. Quick break, right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Tired of long lines at the airport? Check out Tampa Bay's premier private jet source. I'm Brandon Rimes for Will Smith Aviation, aircraft management, acquisition, and sales, luxury jet escapes, and packages. Check them out online, willsmithaviation.com. That's willsmithaviation.com, or call the show. I'll put you right in touch directly with Captain Will Smith. AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com for all of your non-woke, American-made products. American values, Christian, conservative American values. Say hello to my business partner, Jim McCune at AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Say hello to Shane Socash, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, 4009 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg. Online at David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com for all of your precious metals and jewelry design. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for Jason Coble, owner of Coble Law. Coble Law has been handling injury cases in Tampa for the past 14 years.
No, I'm still hearing the buzz.
Focused on limiting client cost and maximizing client profit. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Jason.
No, I'm not hearing the buzz now, but that
Consumer Quarterback Show, personal injury law, and work comp law. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for our friends at TargetSurveying.net. For all of your surveying needs, land surveying firm providing services for real estate since 1992, and they are statewide. Check them out online, TargetSurveying.net. That's TargetSurveying.net. Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rimes. You can reach me at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb, like quarterback.com. Buying, selling, investing, or refinancing? We would love to talk to you. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. KW.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. Aaron Williamson in studio with us, Cornerstone Project Management. He's our tech expert, and he can help you with your business or even your personal computer and different systems and implementing AI. He's a wealth of knowledge in that area of technology. We're going to talk more with him here coming up. Before we do, a couple of hot listings. We like to feature our real estate properties live on air. 369 West Winds Drive, Palm Harbor, Florida. Beautiful property, renovated home. You've got access to the Gulf and the intercoastal waterways here as well. It's a 322, 1414 square feet, just under quarter-acre lot at 369 West Winds Drive, Palm Harbor, Florida, located in Baywood Village. It's a boater-friendly community, renovated kitchen, large island, great opportunity. Bathrooms look great as well. Stainless steel appliances, pet-friendly and golf cart-friendly neighborhood. 369 West Winds Drive, Palm Harbor, Florida. Another beautiful listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Twin Bridges Drive, Riverview, 12948 Twin Bridges Drive, 443, split floor plan. This is a 3,200 square foot gorgeous home, just under a quarter-acre lot. Versatile bonus room upstairs as well, so you got a 2-story home. The interior is absolutely gorgeous as well. Lighter color kitchen cabinetry. You got the tile with the wood look, and you also have that awesome lanai area. It's got an outdoor living area there with a TV mounted and a green space behind you. No backyard neighbor. Low HOA fees. No flood insurance required. 12948 Twin Bridges Drive, Riverview, Florida. You can see all of our listings online at platinummvpteam.kw.com, and you can search the MLS there as well. And also our radio TV show expert contributors. Link over to our YouTube channel at consumerqb.com. All right, this story about Target is kind of interesting too. When you look at these, they break it down with these pie charts nowadays. But Target requiring every cereal to be made without synthetic dyes. I mean, this is a big one. We've been thinking about, all these years. You got, the green Gatorade looks great. I remember as a kid drinking it. We would make our own. We'd pour little extra sugar in there. Have a nice little hookup for the football games. But Target announced that it will stop selling any cereals certified synthetic colors: red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, blue 1. They got a name. A number behind them there, but the move comes in response to shoppers seeking healthier options for children amid FDA pressure under Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. To phase out these dyes by 2026. So it's interesting too. On this little chart I have, it says they're linked to cancer, ADHD, allergies, hypersensitivity, asthma, hyperactivity. Why it matters? Because synthetic food dyes are petroleum-derived color additives used to make ultra-processed foods look higher, brighter, and more appealing. Your thoughts, Aaron?
Yeah, I can tie this right back in. I mean, we just talked about when does the government step in, and it's usually when the consumer is not informed,
right,
and it's harming them. It is the consumer right to buy and eat whatever they want, and they can be however unhealthy or healthy they want, unless, and this is where the government, I think, has a moral right to step in and say, yeah, but they didn't know this is what they were buying and doing and eating or saying or harming and the petroleum-based chemicals that go into our food for color and flavor purposes.
Yeah.
I mean, get out of here. That should be. I love Robert F. Kennedy and Jr. and the MAHA movement, and I think this is a big win.
Yeah, I think it's a big win too. And you see, we had our friend Andrew was up there. We had him in studio a couple of months ago, and he's really big on the pharmaceutical industry, and he's got a couple documentaries out. He's got one on Amazon Prime. It was called Speed Demons, kind of linking those, and he did one with Kevin Sorbo called Prescription to Kill. But yeah, there's so much going on there, so much going on in that space. Aaron Williamson, Cornerstone Project Management. How can people connect with you, sir?
Yeah, cornerstonepmp.com, project management professionals. So Cornerstone, we do IT, but we also do engineering. We do, if it's technology, that's what we do. But we essentially make your business, your money with greater output.
Yeah, I love that. Increase the efficiencies, increase the profit, drive revenue. and keep winning.
That's it.
I love it. Good stuff. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Brandon.
Appreciate it. All right, we had Representative Danny Alvarez on the front end. He's the District 69 rep out of Riverview. And, of course, Aaron Williamson on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Please like and share any of our video content if you're watching out there. Greatly appreciate everybody supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show online at consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rimes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.